We've always coveted coming to venues like Rod Laver, world-class venue. The sight lines are going to be fantastic. The experience for our fans is going to be remarkable. And November the 27th, the Sunday, is going to be a great event. Tickets go on sale this Friday through Ticketek. Couldn't be happier to have half of the main event, Luke Rockhold from Santa Cruz, and a familiar face to Aussie MMA UFC fans, Dan Kelly. So please ask questions, Zoe. Go ahead.
I'll start with you, Tom. We're back here in Melbourne. Is Melbourne the UFC's favourite Australian city?
Well, what I can tell you is that there's a reason why you call it the sporting capital of the world. We know what happened at UFC 193 almost a year ago. We set the attendance record all-time, 56,000 at Etihad Stadium. But we really felt it was important to come back and not only have an opportunity to come back and say thank you to our fans, but as Luke has mentioned it many times, the live experience is nothing like anything else for the UFC, and to have a chance to come to a world-class venue like Rod Laver and to really have a chance to showcase the athleticism of world-class athletes in a venue like this, that couldn't be better.
People who don't know the sport will want this answer. Last time it was Etihad Stadium and all sorts of record-breaking crowds. Why are we at Rod Laver this time?
Well, I think I said it best. In the end, it's all about the live experience. When you come to a market for the first time, you want to sort of have an opportunity to present your sport and your athletes to as wide an audience as possible. But on your second time, it's it's all about putting the fan first. And the fan first here at Rod Laver will have an amazing experience, and that's why we're here.
Would you say that the popularity of UFC is growing in Australia?
Oh, it absolutely is. We see it in our Facebook numbers. We see it in our social media numbers. We see it in our pay-per-view and our broadcast numbers on Fox Sports Australia, and we're seeing it on the how tickets have been selling for this event. So it continues to grow. This is our 10th event. We're almost coast to coast. We haven't quite cracked the code yet in WA. But that time will come as well, and we couldn't be happier coming back to Victoria for the second time.
You've got Dan behind you, but are there any more fight announcements? Can you let us know? Is Dan going to be on this card? Other names such as Robert Whittaker, Jake Matthews, anyone confirmed? Any fight announcements you can give us right now?
Not right now, but before I leave for home on Thursday, we'll have some more fight announcement. But Dan definitely is fighting on this card. Jake's going to be on the card as well, and there's a pretty good chance that that Robbie Whittaker will be as well. So, we're really going to have an opportunity to see a collection of the top 10 middleweight fighters, led by this guy, the number one ranked contender.
Rumours are around Anderson Silva versus Robert Whittaker. Obviously, probably not a co-main event fight for a fight night, but any chance Anderson Silva is going to be on this card against Robert Whittaker?
Well, as I've said to you before many times, I'm not the matchmaker. Dana White and Joe Silva are the matchmakers, so you'd have to ask them. But regardless of who's coming in, it's going to be a great fight and a great night, a great day of fights.
Here a year ago, we had respected institutions like Victoria Police and the Australian Doctors Association saying that they were really damning the sport. Why should spectators come and listen to you and come and watch rather than listen to them and stay away?
Well, frankly, I think people have the opportunity to make their own choices and make their own decisions.
I think they made that choice last time, right? When they packed the stadium, broke records. So, I mean, fighting speaks for itself. People love it.
Luke, let's talk about the fight. People were expecting to see you at UFC 2. People are expecting to see you at UFC 205, possibly against Chris Weidman. You land here, headlining a fight night card. Are you happy how things turned out? Do you think this is the fight that gets you the next title shot, or do you wish you were against Weidman in a rematch?
I think this is the most credible fight for me right now. Jacare has proven himself and as the top-tier guy. I've already beat Chris Weidman. Beating him again at this stage, I don't think it proves as much as this fight right now. People are high on Jacare, and I go out there and put him away. I think it speaks volumes. I think it's the biggest statement fight right now.
Just on this fight, Luke, you heard Robbie Lawler recently say he wanted to take a bit more time off after getting knocked out. Was there any hesitation on your part coming back a bit too soon?
It's been a long time for me. Robbie was very recent with him. I've been off for a few months, and I've let my body heal, and I feel good. I feel like I have a clear head, clean body, and I'm ready to go.
The first fight being back in 2011 with Jacare, is there anything you can take from that fight?
The last fight, you said? I'm very aware of what Jacare brings to the table, and I've watched him as he's grown, and I don't think he's grown as much as me. he's tough. I think he's got more confidence in his right hand, but he hasn't grown in the ways I have, and I know that I respect Jacare, but I'm going to go out there and I'm going to pick him apart.
Why is this matchup the matchup that gets the title shot rather than Yoel Romero versus Chris Weidman, which happens a little bit before you at UFC 205? What do you think the winner of this matchup is the one who gets the title shot?
I think it's pretty plain and simple. I already put Weidman away in devastating fashion. Yoel Romero has his controversies, and this is the fight. Jacare, I believe, won the fight with Yoel Romero, and for me, it was obvious. It was a 5-round fight, a main event. I love it out here in Australia, and 5-round fights really tell the tale of who a true fighter is, the better fighter, and that's what I requested, and this is what I got.
What are your thoughts of Melbourne? Have you been here before? What are your thoughts? Are you getting around to see anything?
This is my first time in Melbourne. I've been to Sydney a few times. Obviously, I fought there, but this is awesome. I had one night out, and we went out and got some food, and the restaurants and the atmosphere, the dives around every corner. You don't know where you're at, and it's pretty cool. And great food, and so I look forward to coming back and getting a little taste of it.
Look, you're probably aware of the arena. The Australian Open gets settled here every year. Was it exciting for you when you first learned that you'd have a chance to break in Rod Laver Arena for the UFC?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Rod Laver obviously is a name I'm very familiar with, and I couldn't be happier to come here and fill a stadium like this. This is going to be it's a great event for the fans. The big arena is the big arena. It's cool for us, I think, but for the fans, this is what you want. You can't really appreciate it in that big arena. And this place, as I just walked in there, it looks like it's going to be an awesome event.
Tom, was there a feeling that Ronda being such a big name on the UFC scene, she could draw such a big crowd that perhaps this year it wouldn't be quite as big and quite be able to draw quite as many people?
No, it had nothing to do with that. It's as Luke was saying, and as I've said before, it's all about providing an opportunity for a great experience for our fans, and this is the best experience for our fans.
Dan, just a question for you. Is there anyone in particular you want for Melbourne, your hometown again?
There was a guy talking a little bit of trash on Twitter named Chris Camozzi who wouldn't mind having, but we'll have to wait and see. I've asked for that, and we'll see. He's ranked a few spots ahead of me on a few different ranking thingos, and yeah, that'll be a good step up for me.
Do you want him purely because he's been talking trash, or did you want him previous to his smack?
Just a little bit of talk, and then you look at where people are situated and how I want to progress through, and then I went, looks like a good matchup. Style-wise, it matches up quite well as well, so hopefully, fingers crossed.
Luke, who's going to be the champion if you do beat Souza here at Fight Night between Dan Henderson and Michael Bisping at UFC 204? Who do you believe you'll be versing if you do get that title shot?
I don't know. We'll see. Should be a good fight.
Does it worry you at all that Dan Henderson might retire after winning the title, and that sort of puts everything into a bit of a tailspin?
I'll be happy for Dan if he won the title and fulfilled his career. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Dan's a great friend of mine, and I wish him the best. And I don't wish anything for Bisping.
And just aside from the fighting, you obviously you do a bit of modelling as well. Can you run us through that? Is it something you look to do maybe when you want to retire from the UFC?
I'm just trying to stack some chips, make some paychecks. That's what it's all about. Say what you will, but in the off time, that's what I'm going to do. Why not?
Dan, it's clear you're in your late 30s at the moment. How much longer do you see yourself in this sport for?
As long as my body lets me. I came to the sport late. I was about 35 when I started, and I feel all right at the moment. Everything's going pretty well, so I'll keep going for as long as I can. Dan Henderson's what, 40, 44, 45?
45, yeah.
He went to 2 Olympics.
I don't know if we all want to go that far, eh?
And just at the time, obviously last time you were here, there was a bit of negativity from certain media outlets. Has there been much negativity since coming down here now?
No, you know what? Sometimes it's all about an opportunity to provide perspective and allow people to really get close to our sport, get close to our athletes, understand what it's all about. And there's an education process that comes with a new sport. And I think every time I come down here, I spend less and less time focusing and trying to answer questions on those kinds of things, and more talking about the opportunity for fans to see world-class athletes compete at the highest level.
Now that we've had the pay-per-view with Ronda Rousey, UFC 193, do you see another pay-per-view here in Australia, possibly next year or in the near future?
All those things are always possible. I mean, we're trying to crack the code in WA, similar to what we did here in Victoria, and that might provide a platform for the first time we go to Perth. But you know what? Right now, it's all about what's going to happen on November the 27th, and we couldn't be happier to be here.
Luke, with the modelling, how's that received by your fellow fighters? Do you cop a bit of stick for that?
Like I said, I could care less because I'm getting paid, so I'm doing what I have to do. Can't always rely on these contracts to make do. So I do what I can. I got some big numbers coming, and
Do you worry?
I'll laugh it off all the way to the bank.
Do you worry at all that an errant kick might kind of put the nose out of?
Man, I haven't been worried about it my whole career. So and I still got the contract. So it's not like I've been doing chasing modeling since I was young in the game. This came to me at 10 years in, so I'm doing pretty well for myself. I've never really bled my own blood anyway.
Guys, we'll take one more question, then we're going to go for a walk inside the arena just for a few minutes. So one more question.
Dan, we haven't seen you fight since March. Were there any fights offered sooner than this?
No, I've been coaching the Olympic judo team. So as soon as March happened, I requested that I have a bit of time off. So I got back from Rio about a month ago and got back into training. So yeah, I've been travelling all over the world with the team since then. So yeah, no, it was never in my plans to fight until this time of the year.